Back on Arizona Business Spotlight, I'm your host, Helen Gibson. You're watching Verde Valley TV. Joining us, Robert Brothers, Spotlight Home Inspection. Okay, Robert, I've just called you. We've made an appointment, and you're coming over to do my home inspection. Kind of walk me through and our viewers of what we can expect with the home inspection.
Well, the first thing we do is hopefully the person that hired me is there. A lot of times they don't come, but if they do, we set the expectation of what they need to realize a home inspector does. We are a visual inspection. We don't take things apart, not too many things anyways. We don't get into the mechanics of it because we're not experts on these things. What we do is we look at things. We may turn the air conditioner on, see if it's working right. We may use this.
You've got all these fancy tools. That's what I want. I'm excited. I wanted to figure out what all these tools were on the table here.
Well, this tool is very handy for testing air conditioners. It's an infrared thermometer. And what you do is you shoot a beam of red, which is telling you what the temperature is, to say, for example, the air that's being sucked into the air conditioner. How warm is it? What's the temperature? And what is coming out, the registers, the conditioned air. It should be quite a large difference between the two. That tells you how good the system is working. And you also can use this thermometer for other things. How hot is the hot water? If it's above 120, there's a danger of scalding.
Yes.
So you might want to tell the homeowner to turn it down.
Right.
And other things too.
So it's that visual, first you go through the home, and so you're looking for possibly mold, gaps in the windows, everything you're talking about I've seen in homes I've lived in, or...
Well, again, let me just talk about the mold for a minute. We might see something that looks like mold, but I'm not, at this time, certified to tell you that it's mold. You would have to hire a person to come in, and they do testing for mold.
But at least you saw it.
But I can say you need to have a mold inspector come in.
So I feel like you're kind of like the entry point to everything that needs to be fixed, instead of me trying to think, do I need to fix my air conditioning? Do I need to check my ducts? Is my hot water too hot? Do I have mold in my bathroom? You're going to come in and you've been trained to look for those things, because a lot of times we don't even think to look for those things.
Yeah, so we would put it on the report. Say, for example, if something looks like mold, we'll say it's a mold-like substance. We would require you to hire somebody to come and test for it.
Okay.
And that's true with really all the components of a home. If your roof looks like it needs to be replaced, we would ask you to have a competent roof contractor to come and look at the roof and inspect it further, because he may see other things that we don't see.
Right.
And let the experts tell you what really needs to be done.
But you know what needs to pass inspection if you're going to sell your home or buy a home.
That's right.
So again, you need somebody on your side that is not on the other team, so to speak. So that they're rooting for you, and they're, finding the little things like window seals. I wouldn't even think about that. And you mentioned that before the show, about that's one of the most common things is people's windows need to be sealed properly.
Well, yeah, and the glass, the seal I was talking about was the seal that holds the glass together, because you have two panes of glass, and it makes a thermal difference between the outside and the inside. If that seal breaks, moisture gets into the two panes of glass, and it fogs up.
Makes it foggy.
And that's the #1 complaint that homeowners have against home inspectors in Arizona, because we miss them a lot. So we need to learn how to look at these windows at the early stages of window failure. Now, it doesn't affect the thermal action very much. I mean, it might a degree or two, but mostly because it
Well, we want to look out our windows.
View. Right.
Yeah, we have this beautiful view here in Verde Valley, so absolutely. Okay, you have some more tools on the table. I want to know what these do. They're all fancy.
Well, this helps us to determine if, for example, your pipes are leaking gas after, it could be your hot water heater or your furnace. It basically detects carbon monoxide, and this is just a simple little tool that tells you a lot. You plug this into your outlets, and it tells you, depending on how these light up, if there's certain problems with your wiring. And it also tests your circuits for GFIs. They need to be able to switch off if you have a problem.
Right. So, even if I'm not selling a home, because we kept saying selling and buying a home, but what if I'm just curious about if my home is sick? If my home needs some repairs, can we call you as well?
Yes, and some people do. They'll do it every few years, have somebody come in and inspect. And that's really not a bad idea, because if you can find a problem early, it'll cost you less in the long run. Take, for example, there was one home where trees were rubbing against the roof, and it destroyed part of the roof. Whereas if that got cut early enough, they could have trimmed the trees back.
That's it, right? Just something as simple as trimming the trees back. Wow.
And even a new home, after several months, maybe a year, a brand new home, it's not a bad idea to have it inspected, because that's when things will start to show wear and tear. For example, caulking may come loose. Caulking, we don't think about it much, but that's a water penetration area if it's not properly caulked. And so again, it's a simple thing.
Is that like in bathrooms on tile in the bathtubs and things like that?
Yes, in the bathrooms, most definitely. And also even outside around windows and other things.
What's the most rewarding thing, Robert, about owning your own business and helping people with Spotlight Home Inspection?
Well, it's nice to let them know what they can expect when they move in to a house.
Things that they're not even thinking about.
That's right. It's horrible to get into a house and say have the hot water heater go. I used to do a lot of cleanups because hot water heaters go. The average hot water heater lasts 7 or 8 years. So on the report we would say this is near the end of its life.
Right.
So maybe they could get it replaced before they bought the house.
So I think it's important for people to keep your number on their refrigerator. Robert Brothers, Spotlight Home Inspection, 928-282. Is that right? 1337. Keep Robert top of mind awareness. Just like you go to the doctor to have a checkup every once in a while, you need to have your home checked up, even if you're not selling it, okay? I think it's wise to, especially with the carbon monoxide, where would that come from? I always think of a car when I think of carbon monoxide.
Well, it's it's gases that leak out of pipes. Maybe the pipes are loose or something like that. It's
yes. So what about radon? I've been hearing that's in the news. Can you tell me a little bit about what is this whole conversation?
Well, actually it happens all the time, and again, you'd have to get a qualified person to come in and do the testing. But it's an easy test, and it just what comes out of the rocks. It could be, even a granite countertop. It puts a little bit out. Nothing that is really serious. But it's a natural thing that happens. But when you get an enclosed space and there's a lot of granite or rock that emits it, it just builds up in the house. And it's an easy fix. You get a system put in that takes it out. It's not that big a deal if you get the right people to look at it.
Right. You remind me of a general practitioner, doctor, where you go to them and then they tell you which specialist you need to go to, right? But we spend almost our entire lives in our homes. I would say, you know, we go to work, yes, 8 hours, but the rest of the time is pretty much spent at our home. We need to know that our home's not making us sick. And if we wanted to sell it, we need to have somebody that we're hiring that's going to be honest and truthful and tell us, because maybe some other people might come in and they're working for the people that want to buy your home. I don't know how that goes. They may not mention something. So, Robert, any last thought about Spotlight Home Inspection that you want to share with Verde Valley TV or people that are out there watching right now?
Well, I think continuing education is important for inspectors, both me and anybody else, because things are changing all the time. For example, infrared cameras now, they do a great thing. So I think it's important for an inspector to keep up with the latest things and to continue to take in education.
You're so diplomatic. I would just be saying, call you. There are no other inspectors. But you're like saying, when you choose, do your research and make sure you have an inspector. And you've been trained by some of the best, almost like an apprenticeship. 30 hours, you are licensed, certified, you've gone through all the state testing, so you're an approved workman that I think that anybody would, you know, be wise to call you just to have their home. How long does that take to like just have an initial home inspection?
Well, the basic home, you know, say around 2,000 square feet, it's 2 to 3 hours.
That's not bad.
And of course, the more square feet you have, the more things you have, time goes up.
All right, Robert Brothers, Spotlight Home Inspection today here on Arizona Business Spotlight. I've learned a great deal. I'm going to be giving him a call. Are you? We'll see you next time here on Arizona Business Spotlight. I'm Helen Gibson, your host. You've been watching Verde Valley TV. Be sure to go to Verde Valley TV YouTube and play it again and again and again. Remember, dream big. You can and you will. We'll see you next time.